Thank you so much for being here and for sharing our Congresswoman's words. Please give her our best and congratulate her on her recent inauguration. Swearing in just took place earlier today. Well, I've introduced other people. Now it's time for me to introduce me. Some words that I've prepared, thoughts that I want to share with you, but of course, being a rabbi, I can't help but start with a couple of chapters from Tehillim, the book of Psalms in the Bible. There are a series of poems in the book of Psalms that begin with the word Shir LaMa'alot or Shir HaMa'alot, which means a song while going up. We don't know what the going up refers to. Does it mean going up to Jerusalem? Because wherever you are and you go to Jerusalem, you're always going up. Does it mean going up to the land of Israel from wherever else in the world you are? Whatever it means, these passages all share in common certain things. Chapter 121, Shir LaMa'alot asa einai le'harim me'ayin yavo ezri. I lift up my eyes to the hills and ask, what is the source of my help? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of the heavens and the earth. He will not allow you to stumble. Your guardian will not slumber. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your shelter at your side. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you against all evil. He will guard you, body and soul. The Lord will guard your going out and your coming home, now and forever. These words written 3,000 years ago are so real for us today. Chapter 120, Shir HaMa'alot El Adonai B'tzarata Li Karati V'Ya'anini. To the Lord in my anguish I call that he may answer. Save me, Lord, from lying lips, from a treacherous tongue. What will it benefit you? What will you gain, you treacherous tongue? A warrior's sharp arrows and red-hot coals. Alas, that I dwell with the ruthless, and that I live among the lawless. Too long have I lived among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but whenever I speak, they are for war. And finally, chapter 128, Shir HaMa'alot Ashrei Kol Yirei Adonai Ha'alech B'drachav L'Gi'a Kapecha K'tochel Ashracha B'tov Lach. Blessed are all who revere the Lord, who follow his ways. You shall enjoy the fruit of your labors. You shall be happy. You shall prosper. This is the blessing of one who reveres the Lord. May the Lord bless you from Zion. May you see Jerusalem prosper all the days of your life. May you live to see children's children. May there be peace for the people of Israel. Dear friends, I am not a politician. Therefore, I do not need to be politically correct. I am not an analyzer. Therefore, I do not need to analyze. I am not a journalist. So there's no need for me to be fair and balanced. There are three words that we hear over and over again, and especially since the latest incursion by the Israeli armed forces. Civilian casualties is one of them. We need to talk about civilian casualties. And in order to do so, we need to understand what exactly does it mean to be a civilian in the context in which we are speaking. The IDF is a civilian army, which means every soldier in the Israeli army, even though he or she may be wearing a uniform, is a civilian. And every resident of the Gaza Strip who is affiliated with the Hamas terrorists may be wearing street clothes, but is very much a soldier. When we talk about the civilian casualties, when we talk about the entire situation there, we must all understand that we and they speak two different languages, and I'm not talking about Hebrew as opposed to Arabic. We speak two languages when it comes to the values that we hold dear and precious, about what human life is all about and what it means. And it's very obvious that those values are diametrically opposed to each other, and that's really what this war is all about. I don't know anyone in the city of Sderot over the last 8 years who received a phone call on their cell phone or found a leaflet in their mailbox a few hours before the latest Qassam missile fell on their home. Not one. And yet we've heard, usually when you get to the second or third page of the newspaper article, that that's what the Israeli army has done to the residents of Gaza before shooting or launching their missiles. When we talk about civilian casualties, the difference between us and them is simply this. We genuinely feel bad. We genuinely feel guilty. We don't find ourselves bragging about the number of kills on the other side. In fact, we know that the soldiers who are responsible for the deaths of our enemy are struggling deep within their neshama for what they have done, knowing they had no choice, but not feeling good about it. While we know on the other side, for every civilian they kill, they are dancing in the streets and celebrating the heroism of those who caused Jewish deaths. We've heard a lot over the last 24 hours about Israel's attack on a school with children in it. But the first missile that landed in Beersheba hit a school. And no one talked about that. Didn't make it into the article. The headline read that a missile reached Beersheba, the farthest it's ever gone. But none of the articles seemed to talk about the fact that it was a school, and the only reason none of the children were killed is because the city officials had heard rumors that their missiles were now able to reach Beersheba, and they wisely made the decision to cancel class. If they had not made that decision, who knows how many Jewish children in Beersheba, kindergartners, might have been on the casualty list. And when we talk about innocent civilian casualties, once you read the entire article in the newspaper, whichever newspaper you're reading, you only much later in the article find out, oh, and by the way, there were Hamas soldiers, armed terrorists in the school shooting at the Israeli soldiers, which is the reason they shot back. So who causes the death of those little children? The ones who taunted the Israeli army by shooting from within the entire school? Or the ones who exercised their right to self-defense? They have murdered their own children. And that's what we call civilian casualties. The second word we hear often in the news is about proportionality. Love that word. I never was very good at math. I think the best statement was the one made by Mayor Bloomberg on his quick 24-hour visit to Israel when he stood there in the middle of Sderot, as he has often done, to his credit. And when one of the reporters asked him about the disproportionality, what did he say? I'm sure you all heard his interview. That's the stupidest question I've ever been asked. Thank God for Mayor Bloomberg. And he's right. Because he went on to say that if somebody threw a rocket missile at New York City, do you think I would call the local police station and say, can you send over one of the cops? He said, no, I would call out every single policeman at my disposal to go find the enemy and get rid of him. That's what you do.